and from what we've seen, this Confused Matthew's review, 2001 review, consisted almost entirely of his own opinions. Or rather, I don't mean to sound snide, but oh, what the hell? Where?
Confused Matthew's like the owner of the Snide store. So go ahead.
Yeah, okay, fine. Let's get busy. Yes. Many of Confused Matthew's viewers commented on. Well, they noted the wealth of symbolism in 2001 that Confused Matthew seemed to just ignore. In that respect, well, he had pressure. I suppose his only claim to objectivity in this sense is that in ignoring this symbolism, he doesn't have very many opinions on the movie. See what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Say if he isn't noticing all the positives of this film and only touching upon the negatives, then he has far fewer opinions, and he's less subjective, but still subjective, than us. So that's the only way he can call himself objective. But it's a pretty self-limiting objectivity.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I don't know how anybody could just go out and say that. I got it. Confused Matthew has to have like giant steel balls. But, so I guess we can go through his review point by point, starting with landscape. Landscape. Or landscape.
Well, I actually thought that the first, I began watching the first two, the first and second thirds of Confused Matthew's 2001 review with the reaction. Pardon the cat in the background. Sorry. Yeah, I'll perhaps start it again. Yeah, I began watching the first and second thirds of Confused Matthew's review with the reaction, I don't agree with what he's saying, but this is still kind of funny. Say, hearing him say landscape, and then holy shit, a monkey. It was a little juvenile, but still kind of funny. But I ended every review. As soon as the review ended, I had the reaction of, "You suck, Confused Matthew."
Yeah, Confused Matthew is no stranger to
criticism.
Not criticism, but humor.
Sorry.
To in his reviews, and I think maybe he was trying too hard to just be funny. Which is a tricky thing to do when you're being totally objective, as he claims to be. And it just got on my nerves, personally, his constant repeating of these things.
It did for me after a while, yeah. After a little while.
As for the landscapes yourself, I have my own opinions on this, but do you think there's a point in showing us all this landscape at the beginning of the film?
I do, very much so. The opening act, entitled "Dawn of Man," it begins with this motley tribe of ape men eking out an existence in the desert, which I think it was actually filmed with painted backdrops just outside of London, if I'm not mistaken. It was actually filmed. Well, the close-up shots were actually filmed. Well, as far away from the actual location as you'd expect. As you can imagine. Anyway, yes, these these 8 men are clearly struggling, an impression that is magnified by by the sight of a rival tribe pushing these 8 men off their grounds. But
I should point. I'd like to point out.
Yes.
All this stuff you're bringing up, Confused Matthew didn't.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Say and this is something we touched upon last night. I think I'll edit it out. That sounds a bit dirty. Sorry. Yeah. Yes. I also feel as if, before I head back to the point I was making, I feel as if Confused Matthew can't accept characters that aren't human or at least anthropomorphized. But anyway, yes. Say these 8 men are pushed off their territory by a rival tribe until and must hide from the prowling leopard at night until one of them until they encounter the monolith, which, judging by the following scenes, essentially sparks the first glimmers of intelligent thought in one ape man. I would say then that this act is, I suppose, a stream from hardship and relative stupidity to a state of cunning, use of technology, and intelligence. And these landscapes serve to they serve to intensify the impression of hardship which these 8 men must overcome, ultimately by touching the monolith. The monolith gives these the monolith, I suppose, resolves these landscape shots.
And I agree with all that. And let's also point out that the landscapes are empty landscapes, which shows this kind of unconquered existence that these 8 men are about to dolge out on, and that goes into the cut between the bone and the spaceship, which is this is where we're starting from, this barren, unlivable environment to lazing around in comfy chairs in space. Like you said, the Confused Matthew didn't bring up, Confused Matthew didn't bring up any of the actual hardships the monkeys were doing, like being attacked by the leopard and the fight at the waterhole. And I just
well, he didn't address anything these 8 men did, or even take into account the monolith. He didn't even really. Well, the monolith was the most. Save for Hal, the monolith was the most iconic object in the movie, and yet I don't think he ever said the word monolith in his review.
He said it like twice.
Oh,
but he said it like twice, but he didn't. He never brought it up.
No,
but he didn't even give a really quick. But the monolith means nothing, so who cares? He didn't even address it like that. He pretty much completely ignored it.
Yeah, which was quite a misstep on his part. In ignoring the monolith and only really concentrating on the quote unquote crap floating in space, and Hal. He provided a very narrow review. So even if he doesn't like or agree with the monolith, and its I suppose significance as a consciousness raiser, lifter, then even if he doesn't agree with that, he should still acknowledge it.
That's like the one few themes that everyone agrees on, is that the monolith provided an evolutionary boost to the monkeys, and we
Yeah.
can use that as an extension to say that the monolith on the moon is what triggered and convinced people to go beyond the moon and into the solar system.
Yeah.
And the monolith floating out by Jupiter is what took them out of their own solar system. That's
Sorry.
largely agreed on, and Confused Matthew didn't touch on that at all.
Yeah.